Give me a little intro there, Gomer.
There's no turning back now.
Let's put on the show.
You're listening to the Station 71 podcast. My name is Mario, and this week I'm joined by my co-hosts,
Beth,
Brian,
and Kirsten.
So this week we're going to do some resort hopping per request of listener Tricia. But as always, let's dive into the news first and talk about some stuff happening around Walt Disney World. First up on our news topics this week, it looks like we are going to be getting a Coco-inspired show coming to the Mexico Pavilion at Epcot. Beginning March 6th, Disney has announced that they are going to be introducing a show that features the story of Coco coming to the Mexico Pavilion, courtesy of Mariachi Cobre, who will be joined by dancers and will tell the tale of Miguel Rivera, his love for music and his journey, and to find what matters most, his familia. Looks like this is the show that they had over in Disneyland. They're just kind of porting it over to Epcot. Super exciting, though. Really nice to see some new entertainment coming to Epcot.
Yeah, especially one that's pretty unique like this.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw this when it came to Disneyland. Like, I saw the post all over the internet about it, and it looks really cool. I'm really excited about it. I like how they're incorporating the characters as well. Like, that's really neat. But I do have to say this Miguel marionette thing looks a little freaky.
I think any of them are gonna kind of have to. I mean, the eyes are just kind of dead, and I don't know what they can do about that.
I think if they made it blink, it would probably be worse.
Yeah, you might be right, actually.
So I guess next on our news topic, Disney is testing smart speakers in guest rooms at Disney's Yacht and Beach Club. Looks like this is the first set of resorts to receive this pilot program, where they're going to be placing the Apple HomePod and Google Home into guest rooms, and they'll be able to access things like the weather, music, but specifically for Walt Disney World, they can check park hours and bus information. Wonder how long it's going to take for them to roll this out to the other resorts.
That's pretty cool. Now, personally, I don't have any of this stuff in my house, so I don't, I'm not used to using it and stuff, but I have, friends that have it, and they get very, very used to it, to the point where when they come over to my house, sometimes they try to do some of the voice commands, and then it doesn't work. So I guess if you're pretty used to this, and you kind of use it around your house already, it would be nice to have it at your hotel room. But I don't know. Interesting, I guess.
The one thing that I want to see them do more is like, so it doesn't actually say that this is a thing that they're doing yet, but I would be interested to see if this is something that comes to them like in the future. I want to see them like be able to read off your itineraries or like your fast passes and stuff and tell you where you're going to end up and things like that. That would be cool, but I don't know if that's going to start like breaching the line of like what's secure information and what isn't.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point.
Would you guys use these if they were in your room? That's the other question I have for you.
I think I can, like I said, I don't use them in my home, so I'm not used to using it, but I can definitely see where it would come in handy, where like if you're trying to get ready and stuff, to go to the parks early. I'm sure it's very convenient to just ask it a question instead of you having to actually stop what you're doing to get ready and look at your phone. And I imagine that would be doubly so more important if you have kids and you're trying to get them ready too.
That's very true. That's one way I didn't think about it. I wonder if they're trying to get either Apple or Google to sponsor something, and this is their way of trying to like ease them into it. There's a lot of money that they're spending on these things because a HomePod's like $200, I'm pretty sure. So if they were trying to get like Apple or Google in on it so that they can get a discount with it, that might potentially ease some of the costs. But I wonder like if that's where they're headed, or if Disney's just like, oh yeah, everybody has these in their homes, we should put them in hotels.
No, I think you're probably right about that. There's got to be some kind of business move behind this.
And now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, it feels so weird to think that there might not be. Like, what prompted Disney to just say, oh yeah, let's just put these in a room? So then I guess last up on our news segment of this week is that we have the full lineup for the 2019 Garden Rock series. I know we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, and there were still some unannounced names on here. But the full list is out now. A lot of these names aren't surprising.
I was about to say, nobody came in at the last minute and wowed me.
I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, I mean, there's some of these that I can see, like, walking by and just being like, oh yeah, I know this song, but I'm not going to walk by for like half of their set and be like, I know this song, because most of them are like that one-hit wonder kind of thing. But yeah. Is there anyone that you're kind of slightly excited to see here, Brian?
I mean, Sister Hazel, I listened to them back in the day. I mean, I recognize it's like lead singer of Journey. I love how they put like "Don't Stop Believing" in quotes here. Like, yeah, okay, we know. But again, no one that I'm like super excited. Like, there's definitely nobody that even as close as I am, that I would go just to see them. Like, none of these people are going to draw me into Epcot, which I feel like is the whole point of this.
I guess. I mean, the thing with a lot of these concert series is it is always that like one-hit wonder band, or like that band who's not really releasing anything anymore or touring as much. And I guess it's nice if you're excited for them, but like you said, there's not really anyone here that's drawing me in.
14-year-old me would be really excited about Simple Plan.
Yeah, that's a weird one. So that said, do we want to talk about our resort hopping that we are planning this week, I guess? We got an email from our listener, Tricia, and she gave us a couple of suggestions for some episodes. One of them being, if you're going to plan a resort hopping day, what are your must-sees, like an ultimate resort crawl? And Brian and I kind of planned it out, and Beth and Kirsten have some, like, things that they would love to do resort hopping. I kind of have something similar to that. We're kind of all over the board tonight. So do we want to do, like, the itineraries that Brian and I did first? That way we knock that out.
Sure. Jinx.
Okay. Do you want to start, Brian?
Yeah, I can start.
Sure. Because mine's very loose. Like, the one thing I do have to say is that my idea of resort hopping is far more relaxed than going to the park.
Right.
So I don't know if yours is like that too.
Well,
but
I guess you'll see when I do mine. The funny thing is I planned it out and looked down at like all the bullet points I had. I thought, man, like I planned a lot of stuff in this, and I feel like most people's idea when they do a resort day is to relax. But I looked back and saw all the stuff that I did, and I was like, really, it's kind of jam-packed full of stuff, but it's almost all kind of kick back and relax stuff. So it's a busy, relaxing day, if that makes sense. But I guess I'll start off. So I kind of planned this out like I was staying at the Poly, because spoiler alert, my day starts and ends there. So even if you weren't staying there, you could still do this though. But so my ultimate resort hopping day would be starting off at the Polynesian, waking up. Maybe I stayed in the bungalow. If we're doing this realistically, then that didn't happen though. But I want to get up and go to Kona Cafe for breakfast, because I gotta get Tonga toast. I think it's the best breakfast food at Disney. And then I'm gonna butcher this. The Lily Koi juice. I'm probably saying that completely wrong. I don't know if y'all have ever had this there, but it's like their signature non-alcoholic drink, and it's just like a blend of different fruit juices, but it's so good. So after that, I'm going to get on the monorail and head straight over to the Grand Floridian and then go straight to the Senses Spa. And I'm going to get the Refined Gentleman's Facial along with a warm stone massage because I'm going to treat myself that day. And we're trying to be relaxing here. It's a resort day. So what could start off the day more relaxing than a trip to the spa? Continuing on the monorail loop, I'm going to go to the Contemporary and just walk around the resort for a bit. I feel like the Contemporary kind of like gets overlooked as the like one to go to kind of explore and stuff, but I still think there's some cool stuff to do around the resort and just check out and go to all the little shops and everything. But the main reason why I'm over here is to go to the Wave for lunch, and I plan to get the Prince Edward Island mussels as an appetizer, do the French dip for my entree, and then finish it off with a creme brulee for dessert. So after that, I know we said this is a resort day and there's no parks. I'm going to very, very slightly bend the rules here, but not really that much. My idea is to either take the monorail, or I guess if I'm at the Contemporary, I could really just walk to the entrance of Magic Kingdom. Not go into Magic Kingdom, though. Take a sharp left and get on one of the boats to take me over to Fort Wilderness. So once I get there, I want to rent a bike and just ride around the campground for a little bit because I love it there so much and it's really cool and relaxing. And I remember growing up, we would always take our bikes and just like the days that we didn't go to the parks, it would be fun to just like go around and explore. So I want to go do that. After that, I want to take a bus over to Port Orleans Riverside and then again, just kind of like explore around the grounds a little bit because I love them there. It's peaceful, relaxing, just really, really beautiful resort grounds. And then I want to go and rent a fishing pole, and they have a thing where you can do dockside fishing at Port Orleans, and that I think is just like super, super relaxing, fun way to spend some time, but also like, just kick back. After that, head to the Yacht Club. And again, I don't know if we were bending the rules because I don't know if we were supposed to completely stay at just the resorts. But I put down Fantasia Garden Mini Golf here, and I honestly wasn't even planning to, but I knew I wanted to go to the Yacht Club. And when I looked up entertainment at the Yacht Club, it listed Fantasia Gardens Mini Golf specifically as an entertainment option at the Yacht Club, so I'm counting it. Go and play mini golf.
Don't think that you're breaking the rules because I didn't know there were rules.
Oh, well then great. So, let's see. After that, I'm going back to the actual Yacht Club Resort because the main reason I even went over there in the first place is that I want to eat dinner at Ale and Compass. So as I'm sure y'all know, I've got my menu options lined up there. I start off with the jumbo lump crab cake for the appetizers and then get a seafood pot pie, which if you haven't had is absolutely incredible. The last time we went to Disney, we actually ate at this restaurant, and the seafood pot pie at first was like did not sound good at all to me, but the waiter like really talked me into it, and I tried it, and it was one of the most unique and delicious things I've had at Disney, so highly recommend that. It's not, it is very similar to like a chicken pot pie, like the broth or whatever you want to call it, like the sauce in it. It's not anything like a chicken pot pie, but it's really good, and I don't even want to say it's like adventurous because it's really not, but it's really good. If you don't eat a lot of like New England style food, or I guess maybe it would be kind of adventurous to you, but I really liked it. Highly recommend it. And then since it's dinner, I will indulge and get a Schofferhofer pink grapefruit Hefeweizen to finish it all off. While I'm over here, I also want to walk over to the boardwalk because, again, I love the atmosphere there. Really cool. There's a lot of just like entertainment stuff that you can just walk right up to and enjoy and just really, bask in the atmosphere of it. Grab an ice cream over at Ample Hills Creamery, and then to end the day off, take a bus back to the Poly to watch the fireworks, and finally just party hard at Trader Sam's to finish the day off.
All right. Yeah, your day is far more laid out than mine, which I kind of figured.
Yeah, you put a lot of thought into that.
This was literally like maybe 15 minutes of planning.
Well, that's about 15 minutes more planning than I did.
So I guess I'll do mine and be embarrassed by how detailed you were with yours. But mine, I tried to keep mine like as if I was planning this in my vacation. And as I've said on here a million times, I always stay Port Orleans Riverside. That's just how it ends up going for us. So I said wake up whenever, really not going to plan times for these because I feel like you can pretty much do your resort hopping in a day and see most of what I would want to see at least. And like I said before, I usually am very like, if we're going to do a resort day, it's going to be super laid back, super easy, super like do whatever you want to do and not plan it out like Brian
Well,
did.
yes, that's very much how it should be. Again, when I do these things, don't treat this as like a, hey, this is what you should do. This is like my fantasy day.
So my idea for breakfast was just get up and grab breakfast at the food court. I'm not a huge breakfast person to begin with. Usually we'll use like snack credits for breakfast, and I'll get like something at the bakery in France or something at, well, I guess not the Main Street Bakery anymore, but usually that's like how simple we do breakfast. But if I'm going to do a big breakfast, I'll stop just at the quick service at Port Orleans, which is River Mill Food Court. I didn't have anything planned because there's definitely a lot of options to choose from, and I didn't want to limit myself on that. And I was going to find my way over to the boardwalk and start there. I know that a lot of places would recommend like doing the boardwalk at night because there's probably more entertainment. I've said on here before that I probably have missed a lot by not really caring too much about the boardwalk, but I still feel like it's a nice place to walk around. It's a nice place to see, and there's definitely some entertainment to be had there. But after the boardwalk, I was going to find my way over to the Magic Kingdom, and instead of going into the Magic Kingdom, like Brian said, make the left and start my monorail loop tour. With the monorail tour, I would go through the Contemporary. I usually like to do the shops in here. There's not much for me outside of that, I think. Usually you can find a good amount of Disney merchandise here that is either not in the parks or is specialized more for different areas. I've had some good luck finding a lot of things in here. Specifically, I found all of the Haunted Mansion comic books here that one time that I was in here. But then after that, I would go, obviously, Polynesian's next on the tour. This is just, as we've said before, the Poly is a great place to just spend some time, soak up the atmosphere, and enjoy your time there. There's a lot of things going on, and you can easily just take a walk on the beach, catch some, entertainment, grab a drink at Trader Sam's if it's not too early. Really, again, didn't plan too much for that.
It's never too early for a drink at Trader Sam's, by the way. Unless they're not open.
Well, I mean, I guess that would be too early then. So last one on the tour would be Grand Floridian. Before we head back to Magic Kingdom, I wanted to take a moment here to kind of listen to the music in the lobby if, again, it's not too early. This is one that, like, I've gone here before and then just gotten off of the monorail, gone to the store, quickly, like, browsed what I was looking for and got on the monorail again because this is a very fancy resort. But don't let that deter you from enjoying some of the free offerings and stuff inside of the lobby. Don't let that stop you from taking in the atmosphere and just enjoying your time there. I think that this is probably like a good spot to check out if you haven't. For monorail touring, I usually like to just go in, soak it all in, and then move on to the next one. But after that, I was going to head back to the resort, have a pool day at the resort as well. I like spending some time at the pool, relaxing. And then for Port Orleans, you can, I guess this is cheating, but you could go down to Disney Springs. Like Brian said, you can rent a bike, or not a bike, a fishing pole. You can do the bike rentals. There's a lot of things to do there as well, but that would be my ideal resort hopping day. Like I said, super not planned out.
It's good. I think you hit a lot of the high points of good stuff to do. And like you said, that's how it should be. Your resort day shouldn't be planned.
But that said, there's definitely a lot to be done at the resorts. And I think that now is a good time for us to talk about all the offerings that maybe we didn't talk about with our tours here.
I didn't really plan a day. I was just thinking of, different stuff that I would do if I had a whole day to kind of relax. I would definitely spend time at the boardwalk. It's hard for me because the Contemporary is my favorite resort, but we always kind of end up at the boardwalk. But I think there's just so much around it, and it's just so nice and so relaxing. That's probably where I would get breakfast, because I don't really eat breakfast. The only breakfast I get in the parks are usually the donuts, like the giant chocolate donuts they have now at the Joffrey's carts. Those are really good. And the boardwalk, I've mentioned it before, but they do have, kind of on that level where the lobby is, which is the second floor of the boardwalk area, they have that bar over, if you walk in the lobby and then go right, it's over there, and they have board games up there that you can just take and play, and that's really fun to do on a rainy day, and you can people watch and just relaxing. And what else? I love also going to lunch at Contempo Cafe at Contemporary. I think it's the best quick service in all the resorts. Don't ask me why. It just is. Let's see. Beth, feel free to jump in because I'm just kind of spitballing.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought we'd be doing. But my first thought was also to go to Boardwalk. I just, when I go to resorts, I don't really go with a particular activity or anything in mind. Usually it's just to kind of explore and just take in the details. That's, I think, what I really like about going to the resorts is just feeling the vibe, because it's very different, at each one, and it's cool to kind of feel like you're going all over the place, but you're really staying in such a small radius.
I just thought about this, and I probably should have put this in my notes, but a really cool one to resort hop to that I totally didn't do was Animal Kingdom Lodge. I think that that's a great one to go check out, especially if you don't have time at Animal Kingdom planned out, because you can go look at the animals. There's a bunch of different tours and things that they do where you can feed the animals. There's a bunch of things outside of that, you could apparently decorate cookies at Boma. There's African storytelling at the fire pit, and then during the holidays, which I'm sure we'll get to later, they have the big Christmas tree. So lots of cool stuff there, and I think that that's a good substitute if you just don't have time at Animal Kingdom planned out.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too, because whenever I was on my program, one of my roommates and I would take our deck of cards. We had a never-ending game of war, and we would go to different resorts and get lunch and play cards. And Animal Kingdom was one that was really nice and has a nice atmosphere. What else would I do? We've already talked about Trader Sam's. Oh, I was told to mention Abracadabra on the boardwalk. I was slightly let down by this place, but apparently it's very popular. And it is cool, but I just was expecting it to be more themed, really high level of theming, and it wasn't.
Yeah, I expected it to be almost in the same vein as Trader Sam's, but in reality it's just a bunch of cool / magic related decor.
Yeah.
So it's every bar I go to Gonna be lame because I've been to Trader Sam's.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Once you go to Trader Sam's, there's no going back.
It's all downhill from there. That's like fireworks shows. Are any of y'all impressed by like 4th of July fireworks ever?
Oh,
No.
never. No.
People want to go do that, and I'm like, I mean, it's just not that fun, y'all. Disney does it better every day.
I know, it's like, you're not even playing music to the fireworks? What kind of 2-bit operation is this?
The worst part of that is like, how many times did you see wishes on your program, Kirsten? Like,
I think my goal was to get to 50. But yeah, a lot.
so you saw it like almost every night, I'm guessing.
I mean, I tried. My first job that I had, I worked at night a lot, so I missed it. But once I changed, and basically every night that I wasn't at work, I would go. And when I changed jobs and started working in the morning, I would try to go on the mornings. I didn't start work at like 6 a.m.
So like you saw them a lot, and now you go to see fireworks outside of Disney, and you're like, it's really not the same.
Yeah, I'm like, y'all, this is not that cool. Sorry.
Also, kind of bouncing off of your sitting in the lobby and relaxing, I really like the Wilderness Lodge lobby too. That can be kind of hectic, but that's a really nice place to sit, especially if you can sit near one of the big fireplaces.
That is a good one. And what else was I going to say? Oh, the piano bar at the boardwalk. I've actually never been, but I know a lot of people that have, and they really enjoyed it. My parents, for instance, loved it.
You talking about jelly rolls?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I've never been able to go, but I would like to.
Yeah. What else is fun to do when you're resort hopping? I also think mini golf is fun. I wouldn't call it romantic, but I do think it's like a fun activity to do.
That's where you and I differ.
And the spa is really nice. I love the Grand Floridian spa. I'm not like a big spa person, so I've only been once, but it was fun.
You've been to Senses?
Yeah.
Is it nice?
Yeah.
I know this is probably the like second or third time that I've thrown this in a like dream itinerary, but I've never actually been, so
You should go. It's nice.
you talked me into it. All right.
I don't really do massages or anything, but I did get a facial.
That was what I was going to ask, is what services you've had.
Yeah, my mom got a massage, and she liked it, but, I would go back, but I'm never there for long enough anymore. Like, when I went, it's because I live there, and now I'm like, I can't waste this time here. I have things to do. I have to ride Tower of Terror. What else? I know I was thinking of more fun things. Oh, at night, what I would do as my relaxing resort would be Grand Floridian, because I love the piano players and the band and everything, and it's the best. And that's all there is to it.
That brings up a very interesting point. Like, you could probably do a couple days of resort hopping just because each one has a different atmosphere at night. And, I mean, really, if you did the monorail loop at night, you could probably see all of them at night. But then, watching the sunset at Animal Kingdom Lodge sounds fun. Or seeing, like, if you can see the fireworks from the boardwalk. I've never tried that, but maybe you can. And as much as Kirsten's going to hate me for saying this, you could probably watch the electric water pageant at some of the resorts, and that would be fun.
Also, I do think that the bridge from Saratoga over to Disney Springs is really nice. If it's not like mosquito season, it's a really nice, just a nice walk. If you don't have much going on, it's quiet, and I don't know. My husband and I have walked there before when we've stayed at Saratoga, and it's like fun. So.
Technically, does Disney Springs count as part of resort hopping? That's what I want to know from you guys, because a lot of the articles I was looking at earlier, just to kind of put myself in that mindset, included Disney Springs because it's not ticketed. But I think that's a little bit cheating.
I mean,
Yeah, I would say it's that can be included in a non-park day, not a resort day.
Yeah.
because I think you could easily spend a full day at Disney Springs doing all kind of different stuff. So
If you want to shoot yourself.
Oh wow.
Like, I just think it's so crowded now. It's not fun like it used to be to me. I don't.
That's interesting. I've never, like, I don't really see it crowded except, like, on the weekends or at night usually.
Well, usually night is when we go.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we almost always go on the weekends, and it has been pretty insane lately. Parking is becoming an absolute nightmare. Luckily, they're about to open the third garage, so hopefully that should help a lot. But I mean, the last 2 times I went, I mean, it took us almost a half hour to park one time, and then the other time we got in a little bit less than that, but it was still crazy. It is no longer just like a drive up and park all the time. Sometimes there's definitely going to be a parking issue.
Yeah, like I remember when there were no parking garages, and that was the best.
I don't understand why it's so hard for people. Like, they literally made it the easiest parking garage ever. It's like, here's how many spaces are in this row, and there's a green light over the empty ones, but it still takes people so long to...
Yeah, I think that system is really cool, and I've also seen it fail a bunch of times, which was not helping that situation when it was already super crowded.
Really?
I don't know how frequently those numbers update, but when I went, the time that it took us like a half hour to park, there were so many rows that were showing available spaces that weren't available, and people were then trying to turn around, so it just created a whole havoc. But if that system worked flawlessly, it'd be great.
That's really interesting. I assumed that it was pretty much instant, but I didn't realize it wasn't. I just assumed that whatever sensor detects the car and turns the green light off also updated the counter, but I guess not.
Yeah.
And this is the reason I take Disney transportation.
So, I already told you guys this, but I'm going down to Disney this weekend, and I booked a night at one of the, like, Disney World Good Neighbor resorts, because it was, like, super cheap on Priceline, and it's literally, like, a 2-minute walk to Disney Springs, and I'm actually really excited.
Which one?
The Wyndham.
Okay, because I've stayed at some of them, but I don't think I've stayed at that one.
Yeah. I was just like, I'm going to get some extra magic hours, be able to walk to Disney Springs. Sounds good.
Nice.
I mean, if it's close enough, you might as well. But are you planning on doing any resort hopping at all while you're there? I know you were talking about maybe doing that in our group chat.
Yeah, I would definitely like to. So my boyfriend isn't able to come on this trip, so it's kind of like a semi-solo trip. Obviously, as I've mentioned before, my best friend lives down in Winter Garden, so he'll probably hang out when he's not working, but when he is working, I'll kind of be on my own, which is fun and interesting. So, I was planning on using that time to go around to some of the resorts I've never been to, since I usually have to talk people into doing stuff like that, because they're not as big a Disney nerd as I am.
I feel like
Art of Animation is also a really fun resort to walk around, especially if you have kids. I've never been with my child, but they just have so much, like the sculpture kind of things of all the big characters are really fun, and you can like climb around, and it's cool.
You know, it's funny that you say that, because if anyone else were to say that about, like, let's say the All-Stars, I wouldn't believe them.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
But Art of Animation, I can kind of see that.
Art of Animation is a different breed. That's why it's always so expensive, which it was really irritating, because I don't think it should be as expensive as it is, like compared to the other ones.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think it should end up being somewhere along the lines of maybe a little bit pricier than the All-Stars, probably similar to like Pop, but I don't think it should be as expensive as it is. So yeah, any other ideas that you guys want to throw out there? I have a couple, like I have this list in front of me from WDW prep school about things to do at, like, on a resort hopping day. so I can probably pick through here. I'm surprised Beth didn't say this, but you can get a Dole Whip at the Poly if you wanted your daily dose of Dole Whip and couldn't make it into the Magic Kingdom.
You can also get Dole Whips at Menchie's. Just fun fact there.
But
What is
if you go to the
Menchie's?
Poly, you can get them with rum.
That's true, and you're not at Disney World if you go to Menchie's, which is automatically a deterrent.
Yeah, we don't have a Menchie's here. I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
It's like a Froyo place, right?
Yeah, it's a frozen yogurt place.
Oh.
But they have legit Dole Whip, like it's Dole brand and everything. But there's just like it tastes the same, but it doesn't taste the same.
Because it doesn't taste like magic and $40 down the drain.
This is true.
Yeah.
I was actually at Menchie's, I don't know, last weekend, and they had the Dole Whip out, and I was like, I'm not going to have that because I'm going down to Disney World next weekend, and I'm going to have the real thing.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this before. There's like a local ice cream shop near me that serves that, like they list it as Dole Whip. I'm like 99% sure it's not real Dole Whip.
It might be because there's a place on the boardwalk, and I know I've mentioned this. If anybody ends up in Ocean City, New Jersey, and walks the boardwalk, there's a place on there that sells Dole Whip, and they label it as Dole Whip. And I did an experiment one time, and I wanted to try it. It's not the same, but it definitely is the same, like, stuff.
It might be my place's like ice cream machine or whatever they're actually making it with, because like it tastes. I can't tell the difference with the taste, but it's like the consistency isn't the same, and there's like usually ice chunks in it and stuff, so I don't know. Either way, I know the stuff at Disney is good, and that's where I eat it the majority of the time.
Yeah, that's weird. At least Menchie's at least has the same texture and everything. It's legit. The only difference in the taste is that it, like Kirsten said, it doesn't have magic.
I mean, I think they taste like crap anyway, but...
Don't understand you.
You just don't have sensitive taste buds.
Another thing you could do, we kind of mentioned this, walking on the beach at Grand Floridian, Polynesian, and even if you somehow end up at Caribbean Beach, there's a beach to walk on.
Is it really a beach anymore?
Not really, but...
Don't get in the water.
It's a large open outdoor sandbox near a body of water.
The hammocks are the best part.
Did you mention the campfires at Fort Wilderness, Brian?
I actually didn't. I was trying to work that in, but since I was doing an itinerary, I wanted to get over to the boardwalk when it was at night instead of Fort Wilderness, but I love the campfires at Fort Wilderness.
Yeah.
They also do them at Port Orleans Riverside, don't they?
And apparently they do them at the Poly, too.
They do them at the Yacht Club, too, and I don't know, if y'all haven't been to the ones at Fort Wilderness, though, it is like it's an experience. It's not just a campfire that the cast members are around telling stories, which is very cool because I've been to those, too. But like at Fort Wilderness, they do this really big one in the like main like recreation area in the middle of Fort Wilderness, and they play like old Disney shorts and stuff, and like all the kids can go roast marshmallows, and it's like a huge bonfire, and they do character meet and greets, or at least they used to, and it was really, really cool. Definitely one of my favorite memories of staying at Fort Wilderness.
I feel like everything at Fort Wilderness is like an experience.
It really is, and that's why I love it so much. It's definitely not for everyone, but if you are, like doing outdoorsy kind of stuff, and you're okay with not having like a really, I don't know, like a 5-star, like nice hotel and all that kind of stuff. If you like camping and you like Disney, it's a no-brainer because one, it's probably the cheapest option for you to stay at Disney, and two, there's just so much stuff for you to do there.
Yep.
But if you're like me, just don't go.
You might not like it.
To me, camping is a hotel without a mini fridge.
Oh boy. And then kind of along with that, a lot of the resorts also have like a movie under the stars thing, which that's another thing you could always check out.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if you go to any resort that has it, you can usually check the recreation schedule and it'll tell you what movies are playing, but it's basically like they get a big projector out, and sometimes they do it by the pool, sometimes they do it like at the recreation area, which usually isn't too far from the pool. Guest services can tell you pretty much where you have to be for this kind of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, are there resorts that don't do it? I feel like every single resort I've looked at, staying at, or stayed at did them.
I'm pretty sure every resort does it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. And they're usually, like, especially out by the pools, they usually have kids' activities going on pretty much all day, on and off. So if you are having a resort day with your kids, that's probably a good place to try. And also, I will say, if I was going to go on a trip and I was going to spend a lot of time at the resort and it was just supposed to be like a very relaxing trip, I wasn't planning on spending too much time in the parks, that is when I would splurge and stay club level. That's when I really think it's worth it, is when you're going to be in the resort a lot, especially the mornings and the evenings, and if you have kids that are like going to come back to the room and nap. That's when I think it's worth it to do club level.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if you're doing a trip where you're going to spend a lot of time in the resort, this is the time to do it, and this is the time to go up and, spend the money to maybe do that deluxe resort, or maybe do club level, or do something like that. I think people underestimate the value in, like, maybe even just doing a resort day, or doing, like, staying just the day at the resort.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have like a break.
Yeah. So, one thing I do want to talk about before we like totally bounce off of this topic is holiday resort hopping, because that is a different beast.
Oh, yeah.
And I know I didn't prep you guys for this one, but I have a list of some of the holiday offerings in front of me now, and I'm thinking about it. But usually during Christmas time, a lot of the different resorts will do different things in their lobby. Like I mentioned earlier, Animal Kingdom Lodge has a Christmas tree that they decorate, and some of them do gingerbread houses. It's cool to go check it out, and I think that's a really good time to do resort hopping too. Even though you're not going to get like the natural feel of the hotel, it's just that little extra added in thing that would probably get you in the Christmas spirit. And personally, to me, I think this is probably equivalent to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party on terms of like Christmas things to do, and it's free, so.
Yeah. Yeah, almost every resort does a themed Christmas tree, and I always love just going and seeing, how they do it each year.
Yeah, so I guess I can go through this list and we can talk about some of the stuff if you guys have seen it, if we've done it, what you think about it. First on the list is the Animal Kingdom Lodge Resort with the Christmas decor, which I kind of briefly mentioned. They do a giant Christmas tree, and they do a couple like African-inspired resort displays. Really nice to take a look at, and the lobby is really nice, so I definitely recommend this one. I don't know if you guys have anything to say about that.
I don't actually think I've been to Animal Kingdom Lodge for Christmas.
This next one on the list, I know you're going to have a lot to say about, Brian, but Fort Wilderness Campgrounds.
Oh, man. Oh, the coolest, like, Disney subculture ever are the people that decorate their campsites with Christmas stuff. People go so over the top. It is so insane. I mean, if you've never done it before, and like if it's your first time at Disney, you would probably think with some of the loops that like it was something that Disney was putting on, as over the top as some people go with it. But it's so much fun. I don't even want to know the amount of money that some of the people have in all the Christmas decorations that they bring with them.
Yeah, that's something that's been on my list forever, but I've never made it out there. Don't they also do a golf cart thing?
They do. So they do a golf cart parade. Where they go and everybody puts lights and decorations and everything on their golf carts, and they just drive around the loops. It's It's so much fun. I can't talk about how much I love Fort Wilderness.
This is fascinating.
Have you ever actually been to Fort Wilderness
No, I have not.
It's crazy. They do it around Halloween too, don't they?
They do, yeah. They a lot of people will go trick or treating around the campsites. So, and again, there's always a ton of, they do the like Halloween inflatables and all that kind of stuff. A lot of people do and decorate for that for sure.
Like, if you think that the resort windows are cool when people decorate those, this is like that times 10.
Oh yeah.
So next one on this list is Fort Wilderness. They do kind of a similar thing where they put up like garland on the banisters. They have a giant tree in their lobby, which is already nice to kind of sit and relax in to begin with. But take a look at some of the ornaments that are different animals hung on the tree. That's kind of cool. But then we start moving into the monorail loop, which is probably the cooler part of the holiday offerings for resort hopping. We start with the Contemporary, which I cannot remember what is. Oh, yeah, they have a gingerbread house.
The Contemporary does?
Yes.
Oh,
No, they have a gingerbread display,
They have
I
a
think.
display,
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's the display, but it's according to this list, it's Mary Blair inspired gingerbread creations. You can also pick up some holiday cupcakes and treats at the Contempo Cafe. But that's so weird because I had the same thought, Brian, where I was like, "There's a display here."
I actually remember seeing it now. I don't think I saw it this past year, but I think I saw it the year before. But yeah, some of those gingerbread artists are very talented.
And then the Poly, which I've actually never been here around Christmas time.
I guess I love the resort, but it's definitely not the first one you think of when it's Christmas.
Yeah. But then the Grand Floridian, which I think this is probably one of my favorite times to stop in the Grand Floridian. But they have the giant gingerbread house, which is ginormous and awesome to look at. They also have a giant Christmas tree, a couple other things like that in the lobby.
Here's the question, just completely your opinion. Is it worth the madhouse getting over there and trying to see the gingerbread house at the Floridian?
It's hard because it can be so crowded.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that, like, I don't know, Disney doesn't... I mean, they do some stuff for Christmas, but, like, this is where a lot of the, like, I guess... I want to say hidden gems, but they're not really hidden gems. But, like, I don't know. These are the things that I think of when I think Christmas anymore with Disney, since they took away the Osborne lights.
Good point. Oh, yeah. Man.
But yeah, the gingerbread house, I went and saw it this past Christmas season, and it was really cool, but I was not about to stand in that line to get a shingle. So if you want that, just be prepared.
I said gingerbread is gross anyway.
I'm not a fan of the taste of gingerbread, but I
It's
think
good
it looks
for
cool.
making houses, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason nobody eats it outside of Christmas. Like, it's just a traditional thing.
I think it like varies. Like there's like one type of gingerbread cookie that I actually like usually. Well, I guess two if you count the Little Debbie's. I don't know if those count though. I don't think that's real gingerbread. Do you guys know about Little Debbie cakes, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
You
yeah,
gu-
but
you
I don't
guys
know
up
that
north?
gingerbread flavor one.
Well,
Oh, I'm not north.
you're not north.
Only Mario.
Yeah, no, we do have Little Debbie's up here.
Y'all get
Do y'all
little
have
Debbie
that-
across the
do y'all have, like-
Mason-Dixon line.
Electricity?
I love that you guys think I'm in, like, some foreign country, when really I'm not that far away.
Okay, but Little Debbie's are legit like a southern thing, I think.
I didn't know that.
I always was under the impression that they are. Because if you, like, think about the staples of them, there's, like, oatmeal cream pies. Like, that seems
are
like a
so
southern
Yeah, that's
thing.
definitely southern.
Okay, what is your favorite Little Debbie cake?
Christmas tree cakes.
Swiss
those
rolls.
are good. I love Swiss rolls. I do
my
love
God, we
dough cream
agree.
pies too, though. I think my favorite are the zebra cakes, though.
You know, I was thinking about that today at lunch. I was like, I could really eat a zebra cake.
I will tear up some zebra cakes.
I haven't had one of those in like, I don't know, years.
Oh, let me recommend they have every holiday, they have the zebra cake, but it's just like a different shape, you know? And that's why Christmas tree cakes are my favorite, because them being Christmas tree shaped makes them taste better.
I was about to say, I think 90% of them are the same ingredients. It's
Yeah,
just a different
pretty
shape.
much.
That's why
But they
like,
have
the Reese's taste better.
Oh yeah, no, that is definitely true. Reese's.
No, there's a different chocolate to peanut butter ratio. I think that's a real thing, depending on the shape of them.
Yes. You know, I was just about to write M&M an email and ask them why their M&Ms in a small bag, like you get at a gas station, don't taste as good as the M&Ms you get like in a big, like the giant bags at the grocery store.
Oh my God, this is like a real thing. Like, not even specifically M&Ms. Like, if you guys get the like nacho cheese Doritos, right? Not the like snack size and not like the full size bag, like that in between that you get at gas stations. It's always so much better. Why do they do that?
My theory on the M&Ms is that the ones in the small bags don't taste as good because they're stale. Because the paper is not as thick as the plastic like that you get in the giant, like the grocery store bags. That's my theory. But, you know, I was going to email them and ask. Will told me not to.
You might be
Let us
onto
know what you find
something.
out.
Because have you ever? I said you might be onto something. Because if you ever had the ones that come out of like the quarter little twist turn little machines, those
No,
things are
that's
usually
not sanitary.
gross. No, it's not, and I don't think I've had them in years. But even as a kid, I remember those being nasty. So.
Well, I got some fun size bags to like try and curb my chocolate addiction, and I was like, these are gross. They don't taste as good. They're stale. So, anyway, moving on.
Well, I just want to say one thing. I was just going to recommend the Valentine version of Christmas tree cakes. They're like hearts, but I don't know if this is a new thing or not, but they have strawberry cake instead of the like classic cake.
Ooh.
And they're amazing.
I'm like
So, yeah.
90% sure I have a box of zebra cakes in the kitchen, and I'm like really tempted to just go get one right now.
I haven't eaten one of those since probably like 6th grade.
Oh my God, we literally bought a box of the regular Valentine's ones and the strawberry Valentine's ones like 2 weeks ago and ate them all.
Adulthood.
Yeah. So, I just want to. I know we're pretty far off resort hopping now, but this news article just came up across my Twitter timeline, and I want to share it with you guys because I know at least Brian will be excited about this. But apparently today there has been some rumors that a Muppets revival is coming to Disney Plus from Josh Gad and the Once Upon a Time creators.
What? That's
Okay,
awesome.
I'm into it.
I just had to
so
share that with
very
you right now
excited.
because I saw that and I was like, oh no.
Y'all, I had an idea, speaking of what is Disney Plus, right? That's what it's called?
Yes.
I was thinking the other day, like, a way to get people, like, on the Disney Plus bandwagon, just put, like, all the original DComs. Like, that alone would be enough for me. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh, what is a decom?
Disney Channel original movies.
Oh, yeah. Xenon, I would pay to
Yeah.
watch some Xenon.
Xenon and Halloween Town.
I've never seen Halloween Town.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I have to say, though, I feel like they're not as good as we remember them.
I refuse to believe that.
I bet they'll have a lot of those on there. Because, I mean, even as many movies as Disney has put out, I still feel like they're going to need to, like, kind of fill it. Like you know, even if they put out every main motion picture they put out, you know, that wouldn't be anywhere close to like what Amazon Prime or Netflix has. So I bet they'll have a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah. Maybe they can pick up all the Marvel shows that Netflix is canceling.
Yeah, well, that's what they said, right? That wasn't that they're gonna put the Marvel movies on Disney Plus.
Well, I was talking about the Netflix shows,
Oh,
like the Marvel TV shows. But I think there's some like legal thing where they can't use it for like 3 years or something. So it's a pipe dream.
There goes that one.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have anything else that you wanted to talk about this week before we tie this up? Because I think I'm good now that I'm reading this article. And that's going to do it for us this week. Thanks for joining us again on another episode of the Station 71 podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts from. If you want to get in touch with us, links to all of our social media can be found on our website at www.station71podcast.com. If you want to send us an email, you can email us at station71podcast@gmail.com, or you can give us a call on our Google Voice line, which should be linked in the show notes. We hope you enjoyed your ride, and we'll see you real soon.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.